Buckle up for another episode of Ghostfacers, a supernatural rewatch podcast. My name is Richard, and sitting shotgun, as always, is my brother in podcasting, Reed.
Lady in red. Sorry, I'm just dancing over here. It's just me and what? I didn't catch your name. Yeah, it's just me and Glock Glock over here. We're just dancing.
We got a show to do here, you guys.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Sorry, Glock Glock. I gotta go.
What did he give you his card?
Oh, he gave me more than that.
Let's get into it.
Ghostfacers! We visit ghosts, where others will not, we're ghosts! Ghostfacers! Stay in the kitchen when the kitchen gets hot! Ghostfacers! We face a nightmare, we face a dread! Ghostfacers! We face a faceless, we face a dead!
Welcome to Ghostfacers. Today we're discussing Season 2, Episode 13, Tall Tales.
Why would you make me look at that and put me in a bad mood before we start?
Yeah, what, you don't like to, inject work right before you do something not work related? I just want to remind you that this is work too.
Oh, trust me, I'm aware.
No, this is the real one. This is the good one. It's the Dr. DC and it's the work.
What?
Huh? Is this new?
I love that both of us are like excited about one podcast and doing the other one.
Oh, yeah.
That's not true. I love both of these.
It's a director thing, right? It's like you do one for them and one for me.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
This episode aired February 15th, day after Valentine's Day.
Ooh.
Romantic.
In what year again?
2007. You were alone. It's okay.
No, I wasn't.
Oh. Say show.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Oh, well,
It was like a month into what ended up being a pretty long relationship.
Would this have been a pre-engagement?
No, that it was a relationship before that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a relationship man.
A serial monogamist?
Hey, I mean, yeah, you could use that. You could use that term.
I mean, I don't know. Not in your theater days.
Actually, I mean, well, okay, one little gap. It was like a year.
Jeez, they're humans. You don't have to describe them that way.
Oh, come on. I'm not a dirtbag Dean. I'm a soft boy Sam.
That's true. You are. That's true. This episode was written by John Shiban and directed by Bradford May. That's a new one, I think.
Bradford.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
What a name.
Yeah. We want to call him Brad, but we don't want him to just be a Bradley.
We want to call him Brad, but we also want to pay homage to the place he was conceived.
The back of a Ford. Let's just say he's built for it.
At least his mom was.
So this is another guest we'll never get.
Yeah, that's okay.
Him and Kyle Wittens. He's witten a story for
Look,
us.
I'm not going to censor myself. I have journalistic integrity.
Oh, yeah. That's why people are coming to the show, baby.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Speaking of, this episode was viewed by an estimated 3.03 million viewers. Like,
Yikes.
God, you couldn't even get on this podcast network with those numbers.
Oh, yeah. Wait, you have 3.03 listeners? You're in.
Come back to me when it's 3.30.
Yeah. We have
Standards.
Lord.
Are you ready for this week's international titles?
Yes. So this is
Tall Tales.
Tall Tales.
Mhm.
I was also saying that just to double check because for a brief second there, I thought maybe I had prepped stuff for the wrong episode.
I mean, what are you, me?
Yeah, right. It's contagious. Oh, God. Okay. Tall Tales. Obviously, a particular idiom in English.
Can I tell you?
These international titles, if they translate this literally, they've done it wrong because Tall Tales means something in English that I imagine it doesn't in these other languages.
I gotta tell you, This is like season 1 level good.
What?
Oh yeah.
This one goes crazy?
This one I never would have expected.
Interesting. All right. Well, let's get it. Let's have it. I almost said let's get into it. Cue theme again.
But we start. This is such a classic season 1 international titles. I'm so
All right.
excited for this. So
All
the
right.
Finnish title.
Lies and deceptions.
No.
Okay.
Incredible Tales.
Fine.
Yeah. The Italian one. Incredible Stories.
Okay.
Yeah.
Worse.
Yeah. The Polish one.
Okay.
Unbelievable Stories.
I like that. I mean, it's very literal.
Yes.
Like they haven't found. I mean, maybe they don't have an idiom for it, but I kind of was hoping for something a little cuter. You know?
Well, then you know where to go for that.
Brazil?
Germany.
Oh God. Yeah. Yeah. What is cuter than the literal display of the facts in a impartial manner? Nothing is more cute than the truth.
This is the cutest that Germany's ever been.
Okay.
It's Tricks and Legends.
I mean, yeah.
That's pretty dang cute.
For Germany?
Yeah.
Tricks and Legends is fun.
Here's what I know that you're going to be excited for, though.
France?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, this one is, it's not aliens.
No?
Okay.
No, that's too on point for this.
Okay.
Think about like the F plot for this.
Oh, gee. Student sleeps with teacher.
No, that's too direct.
That's like a D plot. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. I can't remember
This
what the
is a
F
plot
is,
that does go through the entire episode, but is one that you're barely paying attention to.
and it's not about the alien abduction theory?
Yeah, they frame it as like the most important piece, but it's actually not.
Oh, then I don't know.
Enemy brothers.
Oh, yeah, fuck.
I'm like, what? And then I'm like, oh, I guess they are like,
That's classic
Bickering?
France, too. That's classic France.
this is the only thing you see. This is the entire framework for this. I don't understand. The brothers are arguing. That is the entire framework.
Perhaps you should have gone with a cuter title, more like Tricks und Lies, or whatever
Yeah.
the fuck we called it.
Are you ready for the most insane one we potentially have ever had?
What?
And
Hungary?
you know it's from Hungary.
This is the really ever.
If this might be.
Okay, so English is Tall Tales. Hungarian is
The Thimble Rigger.
uh
I don't know. I don't know. I literally have no idea.
okay. I wonder if that is like the cutesy phrase or the idiom or something. I gotta look this up now.
I had never heard of it before.
Thimble rigger meaning in English. Let's see.
Oh,
Okay, here. It's a swindling trick in which a small ball or pea is quickly shifted. It's the cup.
oh, the cup gag?
It's the
That's
cup
what that's
game.
called?
So the one who manipulates the cup is the thimble rigger. So it is like the cutesy way of saying like tricks or like whatever.
That's a thing?
Apparently, a thimble rig is the name of the cup game thing.
Here's what's really
There
funny.
you go. Holy shit. The thimble rigger. Yeah, I mean, that's crazy.
What's even crazier? So I pull this from a website every week when I do this,
Right.
And it shows what the word is in the language, and then it just shows the translation.
Right.
Now, I just take the word for these websites. I rarely ever like double check
Sure,
them. Sometimes
right.
I will though. I just now checked what the word. I'm not going to even attempt to say
Sure.
what it is because it's a very long word.
Right.
But I was like, that it looks as long as thimble rigger. What does it actually translate to? And I
Right.
just did it, and it translates to blindfold, So the direct translation through Google is the blindfold.
Right, but like the colloquial translation is the thimble rigger. It's so specific. That's so specific. Okay. Yeah, that's fucking weird.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, whether or not it makes sense, it's a weird one.
Yeah, one of my possible favorites.
Good Lord.
Go to ghostfacerspodcaststore.com to pick up your merch, and you can get your Hungarian.
Is that
tour.
true? Do we have a domain?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
It just it took a while for it to actually come through, but
Wow, look at us.
yeah.
Go to thethimbleriggers.com/blindfold.
That's no, that's actually a personal.
Promo code Tricks and Lies.
So, featured music for this week.
Sure.
This is a good one.
Okay.
So we have "Walk Away" by the James Gang.
Okay.
Wow.
I'm James. That's Jim.
I'm Jimmy.
That's Jiminy.
I'm Jake, but they just told me called me
And
Jim.
that's Jam Jam.
Oh, yeah.
We're the James Gang. Did it. When you're a James, you're a James all the way.
Did you see they're remaking that?
Yeah, I mean, West Side Story is a great musical, but like Spielberg doing a musical.
Also,
like, can you name a thing more plain than Spielberg doing
West Side
doing
Story?
West Side Story? Like a show where basically even the choreography is licensed and you can't really stray from it. It's
Also, the whitest possible thing.
I know, it's like Ron Howard is doing Fiddler on the Roof. Just like, come on, get anyone interesting in there.
Also, I
maybe get, I don't know, a Spanish or Hispanic filmmaker to get in on
Crazy.
West Side Story.
yeah, it might be a good idea. I was watching the trailer for it, and
I'm sure it'll be fine. Like, it'll be well executed. You know what I mean?
part of the thing of the trailers, they just kept showing scenes from the first movie.
What?
From the original. They just kept flashing in like they were like, this is what it was, this is what it is. And I'm like, the other one looks way better.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's very funny. Next.
This time we're calling it an East Side Story. We've got a real spicy take. Or like you do like community theater. Like, we took West Side Story and we set it in like
Space.
mid 20th century colonial sub-Saharan Africa.
Yeah.
Here we go.
We know how you've been asking
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah. When you're in Congo, you're in Congo all the way.
Next, Can't Get Enough of Your Love, Babe.
Oh, yeah.
My Barry White.
My Barry White.
Yeah, can't get enough of your love, babe. It's a great song.
Oh, I don't know why. Can't get enough of your love, babe. That was like a good little harmony we had there.
I know.
I think we should.
Are we doing this?
Yeah, stop the podcast. We're going on tour.
The worst time to do that.
We're going on tour. Two white guys singing Barry White in the middle of a pandemic.
What could go wrong? The producers.
Oh, God, it's the one time where our wives would be like, I really wish they stuck to podcasting.
We have Lady in Red by Chris DeBarge.
Chris DeBarge, yeah.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Lady in Red.
It's a great song.
I fucking love that song so much.
And Next to You by Junk Food.
Sure.
Next to You is typically junk food.
I mean, not for long.
Inside You from
Yeah.
Junk Food.
Yeah.
Please get me out from junk food.
Oh, it's not capable of speech anymore.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah.
Wow. TV Guide describes this episode as Sam and Dean call on fellow hunter Bobby for help with violent occurrences on a college campus. But Bobby has suspicions about both the culprit and the brothers' escalating feud. Oh, enemy brothers. I told you. You did not understand the framework of this episode.
The French titles are just so insane.
You prove that I am wrong.
I mean, is that actually what that title is, or is this like a blindfold situation?
It is frère ennemi.
Okay, yeah, that one is. All right.
Yeah, see?
Fair enough.
Typically, I don't have to. I don't know about the German, though.
What does the German one say?
Tricks und Legend.
Does it actually?
Yeah. It's literally just like tricks and legend.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, all right.
I don't know. I also like that it's like help with the violent occurrences at a college campus. It's like, oh God, if this was like...
Is this a very special episode?
Yeah, I know. Like,
Yeah.
uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
But before we get into today's episode, why don't we open up Dad's Journal and talk about some of the real-world lore on today's episode?
You're having such a hard time with that shift. You actually probably could have said monster.
God damn it!
Let's see what the lore says about tricksters.
About school shooters.
Let's see what the lore says about collegiate violence.
Oh, no.
No.
Oh, no. Well, all the way from whistles to... Oh, no.
Let's see what the lore says about tricksters.
Oh, okay.
So many cultures have myths about
I love April
the
Fools. I'm a bit
idea-
of a trickster.
Yeah. Oh, what a scamp.
Yeah, you should listen to the Dr. DC Christmas episode. I'm a bit of a trickster.
When did you trick me on that?
The Christmas episode?
How is that a trick?
You expected a heartfelt gift, and I
Is
gave you
this
that
a
artwork?
trick? That's a joke from deep in the other podcast.
Yeah. Wow.
Sorry. Right. Lots of cultures have this idea of the trickster. So it's maybe a god or a creature or something like that.
Yeah.
It's a being that disrupts the natural order. They cross boundaries between gods and mortals. They undo or remake the rules of morality or existence.
Whoa, God, you made that person named Jesus? You really crossed the line there.
Well, they did cross Jesus.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
Ooh. Oh. Well done.
In some cultures, the trickster is like wise and cunning, and in others, they're foolish and clumsy, and in others, they're both, or they're just such good deceivers that it would be impossible to know because they're just so good at being these kind of chaotic liars. They're often depicted as male figures.
Donald Trump? What a trickster.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. I hope not. They tend to represent like rebellious spirits, nonconformity, moments of creativity or inspiration or insurrection or things
Yeah,
like
I love
that.
how you could throw all of those into one description.
Well, just things that could potentially lead to like new discoveries or a new way of being, right? Those are often associated with tricksters.
See, in my time, I'm not appreciated, but just wait.
Yeah. I don't know that that's where I was going with this. They almost represent risk in a way. You're breaking from established rules and parameters. It could possibly result in like a catastrophic failure, or it could create something great. So tricksters kind of like, they're not always good and they're not always bad. In some cases, even a particular trickster in their own lore might be sometimes good, sometimes bad.
Oh, wow.
There's no kind of pinning them down, basically. They're sort of chaotic. Psychologically speaking, the trickster is an archetype. So in Jungian philosophy, there's not only the idea of like archetypal events like birth and death, there's also archetypal motifs like the apocalypse or the flood or things like that you find in all cultures, but also archetypal figures. So there's not only like a father figure, a mother figure, there's also a trickster figure. That's part of like Jungian psychology, that collective unconscious thing. And whether or not Jungian idea of like collective unconscious is true, tricksters are in every culture.
Wow.
In every culture's myths. So some examples. So in ancient Greece, Hermes, he's the Olympian messenger god, or Mercury in the Romanized version of it. In some myths, he's also the patron of thieves and the inventor of lying.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought that was Ricky Gervais.
Yeah. In Norse mythology, there's Loki. He could shapeshift, he could change form, he could change gender, age. He also sometimes was good, sometimes was bad. In Norse myth, I think it's prophesized that Loki sides with the Jotun during Ragnarok. Like, he sides with the giants. He doesn't fight with the Asgardians.
That's where they sort of probably got a bit of that lore from Marvel's, like him being of frost giants. And
I don't even know if that might be part of, to be honest, my Norse isn't as up to date as I might like.
Jesus, get some education.
I'm so sorry.
God.
But yeah, I mean, that stuff is probably all in there too.
Yeah.
There's Anansi, the spider god. That's like a West African legend.
Or someone's fun aunt.
Aunt Nancy.
Yeah.
Well, but if you watched American Gods, that's Mr. Nancy.
Oh.
That's Anansi. So it's an Akan folk myth. It's a spider who's the god of all stories. He's known to have been quite cunning and smart and witty and creative. In some Native American cultures, like some of the Plains traditions, coyote is seen as a trickster. Depending on the oral tradition, there are some stories that coyote is even depicted as having near equal powers to the creator, or even impersonates the creator.
Whoa.
Sometimes. So that's that kind of
False god.
Yeah, that kind of trickster thing. Coyote stole fire, gave it to man, almost like Prometheus. You could make the argument for Prometheus being a form of trickster. There's I'm gonna mess up the pronunciation here. There's Huehuecotl Huehuecoyotl in the Aztec mythology, who's the god of music, dance, mischief, and song. He's the patron of uninhibited sexuality.
This sounds like you in college.
Me, uninhibited sexuality
on uncontrolled substances.
No, I wouldn't say that. Not in university.
Just the best version of yourself.
He's a shapeshifter in the same manner as like the shadow god Tezcatlipoca.
Oh, okay,
So,
yeah.
From that sort of family. Celtic myths include like fae folk and leprechauns and that. Chinese myths include like Monkey King and stuff. Voodoo ones might include Papa Legba or Baron Samedi. They're all kind of versions or approximations of a trickster thing. In pop culture, we know a few. Like the genie in Aladdin is a trickster.
Oh, okay. So are all genies tricksters?
No, I mean jinn. You could make the argument that jinn serve a role as a trickster a little bit, right? They grant you a wish. They're undoing reality. They're kind of these chaotic things that have their own. I think you can make the argument for jinn as tricksters.
Yeah.
There may be less fun about it, you know what I mean? But the Aladdin or the genie in Aladdin is specifically fun and chaotic, and that kind of feels like a trickster. Q on Star Trek.
Definite.
Mr. Mxyzptlk in DC Comics, the imp that messes with Superman. Yeah, there are lots of examples of tricksters in pop culture and in actual myth and stuff like that. Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
Trickster. I'm a bit of a trickster myself.
Yeah, you said that.
Yeah.
We've been there.
I know. Do you want to watch a movie? I swear it's not Cats.
Oh, yeah. That time.
That was a trick.
It was a bad trick.
Is this a trick?
Oh.
Well, with that, why don't we get into today's episode?
Let's do it, baby.
I'm very excited.
I didn't tell you that my 3-year-old, I guess she's picked it up just from hearing myself and my wife and how we talk and that.
Yeah.
If we're doing something and our 3-year-old is very into it, she'll go, "Oh yeah, baby."
Really?
Yeah. You're like, "We're going outside." She'll go, "Oh yeah, baby."
That's incredible. I love that.
Pretty funny. Yeah.
That's amazing. All right, let's jump into today's episode.
Oh yeah.
It's fun because so the opening clips for this episode in the sort of the like not pre-cold open, the then nows.
Yeah.
Feature scenes exclusively showing Dean and Sam goofing around and pranking each other, calling each other's names and things like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I always like how they
The spoon thing, which is again
The
not
worst.
a prank. Like, haha, you put a spoon in your mouth.
there wasn't one before, and
You
now there is.
fucking idiot.
Yeah. You totally unconsciously had no control over this, but now it's one in your mouth.
Don't you look dumb?
Wow, I'm a
Because
genius.
it's not even like he sticks a spoon like in his hair and
No.
then Sam goes and interacts with something. He's
Yeah.
just like, he woke up and removed the spoon. He's like,
Gotcha.
so dumb.
But there are some stuff. The super glue thing, God,
Oh,
don't
yeah,
ever
yeah.
fuck around with that. That's not good for your skin.
Oh. Maybe don't try to stand up then.
Uh-oh. Now the cold open for this episode. We're at a college campus outside Crawford Hall. A professor is walking toward a college late at night. I do not like this intro.
No.
None of the things in this, but it's interesting because she's dressed as the lady in white.
Yeah, this looks like the woman in white
Yeah.
from season 1, episode 1.
That's right.
This prof stops.
He sees a young woman standing. He asks if she is lost. She says no. She says she's actually been waiting for the professor.
Yeah, I don't like this.
Nope, don't like it at all. He doesn't recognize her, but she says she's hoping that she could talk to him. She wanted to not wait for office hours. She wants to talk to him right now. It's such a fucking creep.
There's I could see you now. And then this prof at first says the right thing of I have office hours, and you're like, great, he's not a creep. And then of course she just asks one more time, and he goes, come on now.
What am I supposed to do? Say no?
He's a fucking man in power.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
There's a few uncomfortable moments in this whole episode.
Man.
This is definitely one.
Also,
of them.
he's wearing a coat and a scarf, and she's only in this sexy dress.
Yeah,
Which is only kind of sexy. It also kind of looks
tattered
or Victorian.
Oh yeah,
It looks like not something a college student would have.
No, I mean it was the early 2000s maybe.
Which I think is also why you kind of assume maybe it's a woman in white situation.
Well, exactly.
She says, "I'm not really one of your students." Blah blah blah. And he says, "Why are you here?" And now it's very uncomfortable.
There's a long pause. She continues to smile at him, and after a long silence, she goes, "Maybe I should go," which is the right thing. He says,
and then he says, "Wait," because he's an idiot man in power.
I hate what happens here so much. He goes, "I understand how you're feeling. It's only natural. You are young and wide-eyed and I'm somewhat of a celebrity around here."
Yeah, and then what you should say is, "Now go home and we'll forget this happened."
But
that's not what he says.
No, as he's saying it, he starts to pull her toward him, but continues to say,
"No,
don't get me wrong, you're a very beautiful girl, but it would be wrong of me to take advantage of you." All the right things to say.
He is currently taking advantage.
Yes. Nevertheless, he touches her hair. I just respect
This
you
really
too
is,
much.
Oh God, this is hard to watch.
It's so hard to watch. You didn't watch this last night, did you?
I never watched them before we do them.
I know. Then he begins...
Try to come in fresh.
Try harder. Then he begins to kiss her. Suddenly, her face begins to look rotten, which I love. Yeah.
Yeah, serves him fucking right.
Yeah, that's what you get. She asks, "Oh God, it's decently well done." Effect,
good
actually.
effect. Actually, the transformation looks great.
Suddenly he backs up and is really surprised, and she's like, "What? Don't you like me anymore? Don't you want me?" Which is yeah, fuck you, you piece of shit.
Yeah,
this is what you get. But Genevieve was like, "Yeah, more."
And then she was like, "Oh,
this. I turn back then." And he's just like, "I'm good with this too." Oh no.
Oh, I hate this.
He backs away from her. She comes forward. Outside, one of the staff is locking up the doors.
Yep.
Walking out, he hears a thump behind him. And as he turns around, he finds the professor lying dead on the steps.
Yeah.
And this janitor does not look... usually you're expecting to scream.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's because they typically put a female in the position, but there's sort of nothing, right?
He just kind of turns around and looks.
Yeah. Beginning of the episode.
Can I just say I'm excited we're at this episode?
I know. I was
Without
surprised.
giving anything away, can I just say I'm excited we're at this episode?
I can't imagine anybody's watching for the first time with commentary, but...
True, but, I'm trying not to,
I know.
give up the goat.
I know. I was surprised we were already here.
Yes, yeah.
So we're now at at a motel, a kind of a different motel than we're used to with these guys, because typically it's always sort of the same setup with just sort of the theming has changed or the space. This is I'm surprised that even at this point,
Dean is eating the messiest wings I've ever seen in my life.
French fries, aren't they?
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
That
so
would
even
be why.
worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, are those?
These are the French friest looking
Are those
wings.
fries meat?
Sam is sitting in a motel room looking at some books. Dean is making happy groans next to him as he's eating fries and gravy. Fries and gravy? Crazy fries?
Crazy. Another joke from a deep cut from the other.
You gotta be near both our podcasts to really get the
download
fun.
every episode.
Yeah, and sitting on a bed, also reading and listening to music. Sam asks if you wouldn't mind eating in
Sam
eating in bed.
Sam is saying that his research would go faster if he had his computer.
And Dean's just sort of like shrugging it off. He's like, "Can you not eat in my bed?" And Dean's like, "I don't mind." He says,
Dean is like, "My car's screwed to hell," or whatever,
and sort of accusatory towards
both
Sam.
of them are like, I know what you did.
Yeah. But then where they're interrupted by a knock at the door. When Sam and Dean are bickering in the hotel room and Bobby knocks at the door, Sam goes to answer it. And if you can actually look close enough, you see a pile of pizza boxes atop the fridge. Instead of the typical 555 phone numbers used in shows and movies, you'll see the boxes say on their sides, Tasty Pie Pizza 604-520-3232.
Okay.
Google actually revealed to me that this number of an actual pizza restaurant in BC. But it is now called Hot Bite Pizza. Their website is hotbitepizzarestaurant.com, and they're located at 81 6th Street, New Westminster, BC.
There you go.
Yeah. So Bobby walks in, and basically he's just like, "So, like, what is this case you guys are talking about? And like, why did you have to bring me in here?" And they're like, "Well,
the guys are kind of tense with each other." So he goes, "I'm fresh eyes. Just start at the beginning."
Because they're like, "You wouldn't believe it if we had you to come. We had to have you come here."
So they go, "All right, we're trying to investigate campus legends. We pretended we were reporters." Blah blah blah.
So we go to a bar now. We're obviously it like
Sam is telling the story.
Yeah, this is previous. If you listen to this scene, the band Junk Food, which we mentioned at the beginning of this episode, actually won a CW competition on MySpace to have their song "Next to You" included on the show. It plays while Sam and Dean are at the bar.
This is 2007.
Yep. MySpace, CW, Supernatural, yeah. Sam is sitting at the bar with a guy and a girl. He's asking them why they think the professor did it. The girl tells him that he had a wife and kids.
Yeah, they think it's a suicide.
And his book is like a really big deal. Then again, who's to say it was suicide? The guy starts to argue it, but Sam asks, what else could it be? She started to say something, but the guy interrupts.
Yeah, there's like a legend. She says there's a legend that 30 years ago, some girl was sleeping with the professor or whatever, and something horrible happened and he died. His office is room 669. She's like, the 9's upside down.
I heard that. I was like, because they say 6 and she's like, get it? And I'm like, yeah.
Nice.
And then she's like, you flip the 9 around. I'm like,
oh, right.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
Less exciting.
Oops.
But basically, the guy's like, it's a bunch of total crap. It's like, it doesn't make any sense at all.
Dean is going hard at the bar here.
Yeah. Basically, he's like, 3 years ago, there was this affair, but he jumped off the thing. Yeah. And now they say that like she haunts the building.
Yeah, this is some dirtbag Dean here.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's what? He's supposed to be like 27 at this point.
So I was
26, 27. They're hanging out at a college where they're likely like 18, 19. I mean, they're out at a bar, which in the States, I guess we're trying to assume 21. Maybe it's not that bad. It feels creepy though.
I read a plot summary of this episode, and in this scene, they describe her as like a hefty girl, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding?
Not.
She is 100% not.
She's absolutely not.
Insane. I could not believe it. I was like, what?
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, so then we kind of snap back, and then Dean is like, wait, that's not how it happened. So we're like in the room with
Sam's
Bob.
like, oh, you didn't drink
like, this is the
purple
conceit
Nurple?
for the episode,
Yes.
right? Like, we're going to see the same, like Rashomon style, we're going to see the same thing, but slightly different remembrances.
I like that you didn't drink the purple Nurple. And he's like, well, yeah, I did. I drank that. The purple Nurple is an actual drink, by the way.
Yeah, we cut to Dean's version of the story, and now like it's this like classy black dress, not this not like the kind of like trashy let's get hammed college thing.
Yes.
She's in this classy black dress. It's very like upscale. She says, my God, you're attractive. Dean says, thanks, but no time for that now. I love Dean telling the story. It's so funny to me.
He's so just like,
please, lives are at stake.
So
Yeah, she says, I can't even concentrate.
It's like staring into the sun.
It's so funny. I fucking love when Dean is telling the story.
She moves forward and starts to stroke his hair, and then they start to kiss. Sam walks up. This is the best. And for a second, before oddly saying, Dean, what do you think you're doing?
Yeah.
And Dean's like, Sam, would you give me a minute? Just like 5 minutes here.
Yeah.
Dean, this is a very serious investigation. I always love, this is always how they portray Sam when it's from Dean's perspective.
Yeah, he's always such like a nerdy buzzkill.
But he's like,
which is also kind of true.
but also like like the typical, like stereotypical, like nagging wife kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah.
It's and then he literally just starts going, we don't have any time for your blah 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 blah.
Yeah, we cut back again. These guys are like at each other's throats. He's like, that's not what happened. That's not what happened. Bobby's like, okay, what is going on with you guys? You're bickering like an old married couple.
And D goes, yeah, but married couples could get divorced. We're like Siamese twins. And Sam's like conjoined twins.
Yeah.
Like, God.
Good on the show for having the wherewithal in 2007 to correct that.
Oh, don't worry. They make up for it later.
Uh-oh.
I love this framework.
Yeah, so Sam is like, we think it's a haunting. We go to check out the crimes. We're going back into Sam. We are assuming Sam's version of events is more accurate, but it's also
his interpretation.
his interpretation, right?
Yeah.
So the janitor lets them into the room.
Something, if you look here, while they're entering this professor's office, there's a piece on the wall that is a traditional Native American raven, or Haida. The raven is a trickster in Haida lore.
Yeah.
So that's that's a fun little piece. He's basically like, the janitor's saying he's mopped the floor here for 6 years.
I love this janitor's energy too. Where it's like the jumpsuit's like open a bit, like chest out. He's got like this sort of like swoopy hair. Like he's got a good energy.
It's a good
And
look.
he's kind of like given the goss. He's like, listen, this professor, he didn't kill himself. This professor was known to fuck a student.
And he's like, oh, yeah, because he was basically like, oh, yeah, this is the first time she was here.
Yeah. He's like, yeah. He goes, I told the cops about her, blah, 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 blah.
I also love, so Dean is stuffing his mouth full of food in this entire scene. And just literally more and more to the point where he can't speak and his like cheeks are full
Which
of
is,
food.
again, such like a funny, like it's possible he was actually doing that, but it's also, we're getting Sam's version of the story. So Sam is like, Dean's just fucking eating while I'm trying to work. And then you're kind of getting that.
And he's just like,
Dean is such an idiot. Yeah, in this. I do. The setup for this episode is so funny. I love this. Yeah,
it's so good. They also find out that there's only 4 floors of this building, so there couldn't be a room 669.
Yeah.
But there is a room 69.
Nice. Yeah, Dean with his mouth fucking full. So funny.
So they're basically like, okay, so the 669 thing is a load of crap. We're getting no EMF readings from there.
Yeah.
So like the legend's just a legend. Like this doesn't like nothing is adding up based on the information that they're getting.
Yeah. They're going to crack a beer. Dean says, see if any co-ed ganked herself here. Again, very sensitive. Thank you, Dean.
Yeah, so Sam opens up his computer, and when he flips it open, he looks annoyed and asks, dude, were you on my computer? Dean says no. He goes, oh, really? Because now it's frozen on bustyasianbeauties.com.
Is this the first
This
time?
is the first time, which is really funny.
Wow.
I don't know if this is...
What an episode.
I don't know if this is still true. I doubt it. But bustyasianbeauties.com went to the Warner Brothers website for a long time.
Really?
Yeah. This also marks the first mention of Busty Asian Beauties, which becomes a recurring joke as the series goes on.
That's hilarious. That's Dean's favorite website.
I also love that because he like squints and goes like, I don't remember using the computer, but that is a website I would go to.
Yeah, Dean's like, it sounds like me.
Yeah. Very funny. So we go back to the motel with Bobby.
Yeah.
He's just like, well, did you like hang anything up in the building? Any like suicidal co-ed? Like, no, the history's clean. So it's not a haunting.
Right. And then Dean says the next part, we didn't actually put eyes on what happened here, but it's pretty weird, even by
for
our
us,
standards.
yeah.
And we cut back to nighttime outside that same building.
So
on
the building
college campus.
that serves as an exterior for Crawford Hall is actually the Iona building located at the University of British Columbia campus.
Nice.
It houses the Vancouver School of Economics. The featured stained glass window is actually titled The Light of the World.
Very interesting.
So this guy's Curtis. He same guy from we saw before who was basically saying like the legends of bullshit.
Yeah. And this bright light shines down on him from the sky. and he
like
starts
chasing
yeah,
him.
and he starts running, and it follows him.
He's yelling and running, but then he falls down and the light follows him.
Yeah, the light like picks him up.
It's a good effect.
And it's sort of a crazy moment because we're like, I know we're doing a lot of supernatural stuff, but
aliens?
are we dealing with aliens? And yeah, when we cut back from, I think, commercial,
Yeah.
Bobby is like, aliens? He's like, even if they're real, they're not coming to Earth and swiping people. That's dumb.
Exactly.
And Dean and Sam are like, we don't think it's aliens either. But
like, what else is it, right?
Yeah.
It's
It's funny also to see these guys that routinely fight ghosts go, aliens is bullshit.
Yeah, I do like that.
I kind of like it too, actually.
So what's great is, so about once a season, the series X-Files, which this show is like partly based off of, would have a silly episode where characters and plots wouldn't align to the regular scheduled programming, which often involved extraterrestrial life.
Right.
While the storyline of this particular episode coincides with the trickster's usual antics, the premise is no doubt an homage to those previously mentioned out-of-world episodes of X-Files, one of which Kim Manners films.
Right.
A lot of fun. But basically, they're just like, aliens are bullshit.
They go to the bar, and this guy's like, he's at the bar, but he's not having a good time. He's not his fun bro-y self.
No, he's definitely changed.
Yeah, he talks about like seeing like really stereotypical aliens, like the like oblong heads and the big black eyes, and he goes, they did tests on me, they abducted me,
They look like costumes.
Does he make a probing joke here? There's no way. It's 2007. He definitely makes
They
a probing joke, right?
100% make a very long-winded probing joke right here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's taking like 3 minutes to say this. They probed me.
But they don't stop.
And then Sam and Dean kind of smirk. Like,
They're like, you probed you? And then he goes, just wait. He's like, they probed me. And again and again.
Yeah. Again, I don't know why this is funny, but Dean and Sam like share a look. They're like smirking. This guy, if this happened to him,
He was raped.
But also, if it didn't happen to him, at least psychologically,
Yeah.
yes, exactly. He was sexually assaulted, and the guys are like, ha ha,
Yep.
it's funny because you're a dude.
Yeah.
Which is pretty fucked up.
Pretty goddamn fucked up.
God.
Yeah, not a great moment.
Damn it. I clearly forgot these parts when I was thinking about this episode.
There's one more, don't worry.
No. Damn it, 2007.
I know. Why did you do this?
Oh, yeah. Then he says they made him slow dance.
This is very
the
funny.
aliens made him slow.
Yes.
There's a shot of him slow dancing under like a mirror ball with one of these aliens, and Lady in Red is playing.
It's very funny.
It's extremely funny.
Yeah.
It's just so absurd.
It's insane. I love looking into his eyes, and there's like a glimmer in the alien's eye.
That part is
It is very
that's
good.
a legitimately funny part. Yeah.
I love this.
Just
a
could have
lot.
done without the probing joke.
Yep. So I then go back to Bobby, and he's like, okay, you're clearly exaggerating, or someone's like nuts. And he's
Yeah.
like, I actually don't know if that's true.
Yeah, Dean says we're not so sure. They cut to outside, and it looks like a big, like, kind of crop circle. They think it was made by like a jet engine or something like that. And they're
Yeah.
like, what? Like, what are we? What?
Dean's just like, what the hell is going on? Like, this is
So they're like, we came here first. We're investigating a haunting. Now we're also investigating.
an angry spirit and a sexed up ET.
Like, now we're also investigating aliens. Like, what would connect an alien and a spirit? What?
yeah, like it just doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah. So they're they start like talking to other students and like the guy's roommate
this is the
and
scene.
stuff.
This is the scene that gets not great. So basically, Sam suddenly getting like super emotional. Is like, I'm here for you.
Yeah.
He's like, you brave little soldier, which is funny. He's like, I acknowledge your pain.
Yeah. Yeah. Dean is clearly telling the story.
Yeah.
Here.
He's like, come here. He starts hugging the guy. Dean gets all weird about him hugging this dude.
You're too precious for this world. Yeah. I do like.
This is the part I don't like. That line.
Yeah. You're always saying pansy stuff like that. Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah. I don't love that.
Yeah, not great.
I do like, though, that also as they're telling the story, they are getting more frustrated with each other. And so the
cuts are getting quicker and
the cuts are getting quicker and the versions of them are getting crazy.
extreme.
Like, yeah.
Yes. So funny, you brave little soldier. But basically, they're talking to this guy who was a pledge for this frat that the guy who got abducted by an alien was his basically pledge master, who's basically treating him like shit all semester. So the guy's like, well, he got his fucking just desserts. Like, he deserved this, right? So they go back to the motel, and they're basically like, this still doesn't make any sense. Like, at least there's one connection. The victims, they're both dicks. That's sort of the only information they have, is like, the guys are assholes. That's the connection. You don't got anything better to go on? I'd love to hear it.
And then Sam is like, hey, where's my laptop?
He's like, I don't know. He starts talking, and they basically get into this like argument about that, where it's just like, I didn't do this, and he's like, like, what is with this like poetic like justice that's happening?
Yeah, exactly. Sam starts yelling at Dean about taking his computer because no one else could take it.
Like, we keep the doors locked.
Dean calls him Poindexter.
They really start like going like, I've had enough of this. Like,
yeah,
you're filthy. Like, all I want to do is the job, and you're being a piece of shit constantly.
I love when he says like, Dean, I hate your food in the fridge. He's like, what's wrong with my food? He's like, it's not food anymore.
It's so funny, and he's just like, how would you feel if I screwed up the Impala? And he's like, it'd be the last thing you ever do.
Yeah, it's now we're getting to Bobby, who has to parrot them. He's like, did you take his laptop?
He's like, no. He's like, did you mess around with the Impala? It's like, no.
Yeah.
So could just tell me what happened next. There's
Bobby,
one more.
Bobby is so like over this.
Yeah.
He's just like, oh, you fucking kids.
He's like, so what happened next? And he's like, well, there was a research scientist doing animal testing.
Yeah, he's a dick, fits the pattern.
This is so funny.
Yeah.
So basically this guy's just like walking on the campus, crossing the road, when suddenly he sees something shining down inside of a drain. Also,
which is fine. You could just leave that.
Yeah, you don't ever have to get anything inside of a drain. Like,
but of course he wants to float down there. So
right? Like, I my mentality is like, if anything's in a hole, don't go in there. Like,
what if it's Dean? Oh, it's like a watch. I know, and he's a professor.
He's got the money.
Buy a watch. This guy's like, great, I got struck it rich. He's put his arm in the fucking sewer like an idiot.
He deserved what he got.
And then you hear growling and snarling, and the guy starts screaming. Yeah.
It's basically just like rips his arm. I wish we would have seen it.
Oh, Jesus.
Wow, it's fun. So now we go to a morgue at night. The guys are clearly breaking into.
Yes, and we can tell that because they're entering through the window and not through the door, and the lights are off.
Yeah.
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 So, and they say the cops didn't release a cause of death because they had no idea what it was, Dean's saying. So we had to, and they're sort of narrating, so we had to check it out ourselves. Inside, they pull out a tray, and Dean just basically says, well, this ought to be quick.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
There's nothing.
There's nothing in there.
Except for a
there's
pile.
Not much. It's just like loose body parts.
Yeah.
The guy's been like ripped completely apart and stuff.
Very well done.
Yeah, actually, it looks great. It's gross.
By that, it means, it's disgusting.
Yeah, it's just like one of those airport like X-ray scanning trays.
It's just an
full
arm
of
and a
random,
leg.
like arm and leg.
And some guts.
Yeah. Guess where his office was? Crawford Hall, same as the thing. So
yeah.
The only connection they've got is that all these things happen,
and these guys are
by
dicks.
Crawford Hall. So they're like, okay, we've got ghost haunting.
Yeah.
We've got alien abduction, and as they're looking at this, they're like, these are like animal. We have like a rogue animal. It's like there's like a tooth stuck in this guy. So it's like we're dealing with three.
Oh, it's a belly scale. That's what it
right.
was. Yeah, like from an alligator.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's like we're dealing with three different things coincidentally happening at all. Like, there's an alligator in the sewer.
Have you ever heard of that legend?
Oh, yeah. It's a classic one. I mean, I think it makes more sense in, like, I think that's a legend in places where there is alligators, right?
Well, also, like, New York or something like that.
Yeah,
like,
in New York. Yeah, exactly.
People having pets.
Somewhere where there's either, like, an extensive subterranean system or Florida.
I was walking, I did a hike yesterday, and I found, like a sewer grate thing, and I, like, lifted it up, and I saw...
And there was an alligator.
Yeah, and it ate me.
Wait, why did you lift it up?
I was curious.
We were just making fun of this like schmuck for doing that, and you are exactly that schmuck.
Yeah, I saw it. It looked cool, but what I found
There was
is
a watch down there.
it's not. It doesn't go straight through. It actually is like a little room, and then there's like another door inside of there.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I was surprised. I didn't go inside that part, but I was just curious because I'd never looked inside one before. I don't know. And there was a watch.
I love that you were shitting on that guy. And like within days of this, you have
literally
done that.
in less than 24 hours. Probably
Insane.
about like 12 hours ago.
Insane.
But basically, yeah, they're just like, it's a fucking alligator. Like, what the hell's going on?
Oh yeah, Dean goes outside and the Impala's all fucked up.
And Sam's money clip.
Sam's
is outside.
money clip is out there.
I also love that it's also a thing that Sam uses a money clip.
Yeah, he has an engraved money clip.
Yeah. Very funny.
Yeah, so Dean comes in and he's like, how'd I find this? What were you doing with my car? And Sam's like, I wasn't by your car. And then he's like, wait,
Why is my money clip? Yeah.
My money clip.
Fucking Poindexter.
Yeah. I'm cool like you, Dean. I have a laptop and a money clip.
Just a couple of cool bros being cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and that they're getting mad at each other, doing all this. Yeah. Yeah, they're doing like the keep away thing. Dean's
Literally, they are now wrestling.
yeah.
And a
Hey,
thousand.
they finally got the fan letters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So finally, they're basically caught up. Bobby is like, "Jeez Louise, you guys."
I like that he says, "Consider it reparations for my trauma." Yikes.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like,
Bobby's first thing is like, "Listen, you guys didn't mess with each other.
Yeah.
If you bothered to pull your heads out of your asses, this is pretty obvious."
Yeah.
And Bobby says, "What you're dealing with," and they're just like, he's like trying to let them come like to the conclusion. He's like, "You got a fucking trickster, guys."
Yeah. How have you not realized this? He's like, you guys are the biggest clue of them all. If you have seen the episode, it's called the Enemy Brothers.
Right, yeah. Yeah, if you idiots had bothered to look at the episode title, that would have been too meta even for this show.
Would it?
Well,
Maybe not this season for
not
sure.
maybe, yeah, you're right.
Later on. So what is it? A spirit, a demon, what? So they don't even know what one is. And he's like, well, they're more like demigods, really.
Yeah. Yeah, you know,
lesser gods.
Bobby talks about some of the ones that we talked about, Anansi, Loki, stuff like that. They're immortal. They can create things out of thin air. They can shapeshift. They can illusion cast. They can do all sorts of stuff. So then the guys are like, oh, like a malevolent spirit or an alligator or an alien.
Yeah, the victims fit the MO as well. The tricksters target the high and mighty, knocking them down a peg, usually with a sense of humor, deadly pranks, things like that.
Yeah.
So they're basically like, well, what do these things look like? And they're like, well, mostly just like human, like typically. Like,
and then Dean says, "What human do we know who's been ground zero the whole time?"
Exactly.
And we
suddenly 70s funk music plays.
Love it.
And
cut to the janitor in the grossest porn set of a room I've ever seen.
Incredible. Looking through basically like a National Enquirer type.
Yeah, it's
magazine.
all black and white. And, yeah.
Full of like urban legends and stuff like that. He's got a cute little like Frasier type dog.
Yeah, he's wearing like the shiny like satin boxers kind of thing.
And he's got like an entire like dinner table full of like cakes,
desserts, and grapes. And yeah.
He goes, something's missing, snaps his finger essentially, and suddenly two like hot women show up and are like now feeding him, and they're like kissing him.
The best part is that this janitor, this actor, is not unattractive.
No.
But it's all just, he's kind of like a slightly odd looking guy with crazy confidence.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's kind of incredible.
Yeah.
So now the guys have to pretend like they don't know. So they go and start talking to the janitor.
Yeah, he says, "Sorry if I'm dragging my ass a little bit today, guys. I had a rough night last night. Lots of sex, if you catch my drift." I really love this. This guy's
so funny. So funny. So this is Richard Spates Jr., if people don't know, the actor.
Yeah. Really, really terrific. Terrific actor here. Sam says, "Oh, I forgot something in the truck. I'll catch up with you guys."
Yeah.
Dean goes up the stairs with the janitor, and Sam brings this case downstairs.
Yeah. So funny.
Wait, does the janitor live in this place? Oh, no.
No.
Sorry, he's just looking in his locker. Right, okay.
Yeah. No.
For some reason there, I was like, he's going to walk into the weird apartment. Yeah.
It's very funny. So, yeah,
So Sam is like looking through all the lockers.
Yeah.
He's trying to find any sort of evidence that this guy is a trickster or anything like that. And he opens the locker and he does find like the tabloid headlines
Weekly
of like,
World News.
the alien abduction thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Sam is like, it's definitely him. And then, but he's like, we should get some hard proof.
And he's like, it's him for sure. But he's like, we should get some, like, we know he has a sweet tooth. Let's find out if we can get
yeah, because Bobby says that they've got like a crazy metabolism or something like that.
He's like, well, I didn't find any candy bars or sugar. Yeah, that's probably because you missed something, says Dean.
Yeah, they're still arguing.
And he's like,
you stay here, keep an eye on the janitors, what Sam's saying to Dean.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to his place, blah, 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 blah. We can't just go barging in, staking the guy, all this kind of stuff. And the janitor is watching from the window.
yeah, and he's like, wait till I like come back. Don't like try to kill him without me.
Yeah.
So the janitor now clearly realizes that they've caught on.
Yeah.
So he needs to figure something out.
I love him so much.
I know. So they come back at night.
It's nighttime. Well, Dean is presumably still there because
Yeah.
he's supposed to be like watching, waiting for the janitor, right?
Yeah.
Which is tough to do from outside a building that presumably has more than one door.
Yeah, and windows.
He's like,
everywhere.
I'll just stand here. I'll have to see him.
Yeah.
Like, he's a janitor. He doesn't know every way out of this building.
And have access to every door.
You know, like, it's kind of silly a little bit.
It is a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
So he takes his flashlight out. He heads towards the stairs, goes inside the building.
Yeah.
So he's not going to wait any longer.
Yeah, because Sam's still not
back.
He's nowhere. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Dean is going downstairs. You know, dark building, flashlight is a good little, classic sort of supernatural aesthetic.
yeah, exactly. You're just
Feels
like-
a little bit more like a regular episode now that we're out of the flashback kind of things.
Yeah, exactly. He goes in further, basically just like you're expecting like the fight to happen, right? Like, where's the monster going to show up?
Something's going to jump out.
Yeah.
We're waiting for all that kind of stuff. Dean has the biggest fucking steak ever that he takes out of his coat.
Yeah.
And then he hears Can't Get Enough of Your Love playing from elsewhere in the building. Just him putting that giant fucking steak in his coat is so funny.
It is hilarious.
Yeah, he opens up like the lecture hall and like lights are going. There's this big round red velvet bed, like the two like models are on the bed down there. There's a mirror ball. Yeah.
Clearly, this trickster has a very specific aesthetic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very silly. Yeah,
Barry White's playing.
I mean, this is like Dean is like a moth drawn to the flame here. There's lava lamps
Yeah.
and martini glasses and two underwear bottles on a bed.
A guy who's grown up his entire life inside of motels is
Yeah.
going to understand
Who
this.
exclusively watches unrealistic porn.
Yeah.
It's like
The girls say, "We've been waiting for you, Dean."
he goes
like-
like, you guys aren't real.
And they say, "Oh, trust me, it's going to feel real."
You can see Dean is like, oh, please, can I kill the trickster later?
Yeah,
Can I- please.
Like, I really don't want to have
Dean,
to
I'm
do
a
this.
sucker for a happy ending.
Oh, God.
He's doing a good job, though. He says, I have to pass. Yeah. Yeah, and then the janitor shows up and he says, consider this a peace offering. I know what you and your brother do. I've been around a while. I don't want to get killed here. Why don't you take this? We'll call it quits. I'll go on doing what I'm doing. Those people had it coming.
Yeah.
You guys move on. Don't kill me. Everybody wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, I like you guys. Like, he's like, I do. So he's like, treat yourself as long as you want. I'm just going to sit here and watch.
Yeah, I mean, he is making himself very comfortable
Yeah.
here.
He's very much just like, hey, we're all getting something out of this.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that.
Dean's like, I can't let you do that. He's like, I got to tell you, though, I dig your style.
It's so funny. I love this thing where Dean is like, listen, you got a little bit of the dirtbag in you, and I respect that.
Yeah, he's like, also, the slow dancing alien's hilarious. And they both just start laughing.
Yeah.
Like, He's like, that was one of my personal
It's a good
favorites.
moment. Like I love the energy that this janitor's got. He's just like, yeah. Isn't that
So
funny?
confident. Like,
Very, very cool, like trickster. Yeah, and then he kind of turns serious and he says, Sam was right, you shouldn't have come alone. And Dean goes, I agree. And Sam shows up and he's also got a big fucking rod, and so does Bobby.
hard wooden rod.
Yeah.
He's like, that fight you guys had outside, that was a trick?
And Dean goes, ah.
And he goes, you tricked the
And
trickster.
yeah, there's like a good like, yeah, not bad. I respect like there is this kind of weird
Like mutual
unspoken
respect.
thing. Oh yeah, and then
There's a chainsaw that shows up right behind Sam, who resembles Jason Voorhees.
Yeah, it
which also
does.
is funny because in 2009, 2 years later, Jared Padalecki would take on Jason Voorhees in the remake of Friday the 13th.
that's right, yeah. Yeah. The chainsaw wielding maniac is going after Sam and Bobby.
The hot girls
the
are beating
hot
the shit-
girls in the underwear are beating the shit out of Dean.
He might still be into it though.
listen. Yeah, Did you step on my neck?
I just love and the trickster's just sort
Yeah.
of like enjoying himself eating chocolate bar, and be like laughing.
I
at-
love he's got such like a chaotic Q kind
Yes.
of energy to him. He's like, yep, love this. Great.
He's like, I really didn't want to have to do this.
Yeah. Sam tosses the steak to Dean. Or Bobby does.
Yeah.
Dean catches it, stabs the trickster. All the illusions disappear. Yeah.
So the episode actually did. Speaking of the Weekly World News magazine that we had seen, this episode has actually received its own special article at the Weekly World News. Oddly, the article explains one thing that goes unmentioned in this episode itself, but you can see the stake used to kill the trickster must be dipped in the blood of one of its victims.
Oh, did that not come up in this
No.
episode? Oh,
No, but you can
interesting.
see that they are dipped in blood.
And stakes dipped in blood does come back in future
Yeah,
episodes
yeah,
for
yeah.
other sorts of demigod kind of
Totally.
characters. So
Yeah.
it's definitely like there's a consistency there. It's funny
For
that
sure.
it's not mentioned though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they leave. Trickster's dead. They head out to the car. Sam's like, listen, I just want to. He wants us to just say sorry. Instead, they both look at each other. Dean just says, me too. We won't express any feelings. We'll get in the car.
Dean
And
says
then
hashtag me too.
And Bobby says, you guys are breaking my heart. Can we please just leave?
Like, we need to get the fuck out of here.
Fucking love Bobby so much. Bobby's like, we still killed the guy. We got to leave, man.
Yeah, like this is not the time for your brother moments.
Yeah.
We start then zooming back into the college. We go back to see the trickster dead in on the chairs.
Yeah.
Very slow sort of panning. We see somebody else show up
Yeah.
dressing the same as the trickster.
Yeah. It's the trickster, and he comes and like checks out his corpse, and then the corpse vanishes like the other illusions. So
Yeah.
he's still alive. He faked his death.
Love it.
Yeah.
So we
cool pan up, and he's just munching on a chocolate bar, and he's like, great. Looks like my work's done here.
I'm glad they had enough wherewithal to know that character would need to come back. Or they
Yeah.
needed to let window open so that they could.
Because he's so good.
I hope they knew that going into this, or I wonder if they changed
Or if
it.
they were filming and they were like, he's too good. We can't kill him.
Yeah, like let's just give an extra scene just in case.
I feel like they must have known. It is a trickster. The idea of killing him right away is like, he's got to be able to trick his way out of that. He's
Maybe.
survived this long. They must have known. But
Maybe.
it does work out, though, that it's also one of the best like guest stars that they have on the show.
Up to this
Is
point,
Richard Speight Jr.
Up to this point,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So that was tall tale. We got the trickster. We got Richard Speight Jr. in. And a little spoiler: it's not the last time we're going to see him.
No, we're going to see him again. That's part of why we were excited to come back to this episode.
That's right. So, talk to me about your thoughts on this episode.
Oh boy. Structurally, I love that going back and the Rashomon thing. I love
Yeah.
like the telling the same thing, or not even going back to the same scenes necessarily,
Yeah.
but just telling things from the different perspectives. I love that the guys get to play these sort of heightened, cartoony versions of how they're perceived by the other.
Yeah.
Dean being like the drooling, eating idiot.
Yeah.
Sam being the overly emotional, like, you're too precious for this world. You know, obviously the episode falls down a bit on some of the creep stuff.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, the creepy thing at the beginning,
That
it's
is
hard
just
to
a-
watch it and is creepy, but that is
A real
actual
thing.
setup and
Yeah.
a real thing. It's more like the pansy comment that Dean makes, or the like,
Probing.
you got sexually assaulted probing thing.
Yes.
That stuff's not great.
Yeah.
But generally, like, it's a fun episode. It does keep you off kind of balance
Yeah.
because you have, like, what are they even facing here?
Yeah.
I love bringing Bobby back in. Bobby's a great energy in this group. I do love that, like, see stupid Dean and then see, like, suave Dean, like, lives are at stake.
Their own perceptions of the way that they're perceived. Yeah.
Their perceptions of themselves and the other.
Yeah.
Very, very funny.
So
to me.
funny.
Richard Speight Jr. is incredible, considering that this janitor shows up at the beginning and then not until the third act, basically.
Yeah. You don't really get to like significant amount. He's basically, there's a quick shot of him.
It's
in the
not
middle.
until they get through their story with Bobby that they're like, guys, the janitor.
Yeah.
And then they come back to him. He's so good. I love his sort of gleeful, chaotic
Yeah.
energy. He's got just that insane confidence of like, yeah, I'm a guy who fucks. He's just like, he's so captivating to watch.
Yeah.
A ton of fun there. That end fight is both scary with the chainsaw thing and also hilarious. Dean getting the shit kicked out of him in like his dream scenario.
Yeah.
It's very funny to me. I like the little cliffhanger that they didn't get the trickster.
Yeah.
This is a really good episode. It's a
Mhm.
ton of fun. It has a couple of things that hold it back a bit, but I think I'm still going to give this 4.25 fuck pads.
Nice.
Yeah.
This is definitely one of my favorite early episodes for sure.
Yeah.
I think that this is so many things that they either are reinforcing about the show, finally really understanding what makes this show like work.
Yeah.
They're playing with format. A lot of like run through jokes through the entire series come through this.
Yeah.
Like Bobby being the parent, Sam being like overly emotional and kind of like, oh shucks.
Busty Asian beauties.
Busty Asian beauties, the trickster. Like
Yeah.
there's so much packed into
There's a
this
lot,
episode.
yeah.
While it still is a very like straightforward episode, some of the biggest laughs in this series are in this episode. Like
Yeah.
the fucking alien dancing thing is so
Very
funny.
That's a good gag.
It's so good. They're really understanding like what
It's almost like deliberately low budget too, like
Yeah,
the way
oh,
it's
yeah.
shot.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what makes it even funnier because it's so ridiculous and it's even so kind of cheaply shot that you're like, well, that's not what happened. And then the
Yeah.
trickster's just like, oh, that's what happened.
It's such like can we get away with doing an episode like this?
Yeah.
And like I'm so glad that they push the boundaries because it gives them the freedom to be able to continue to do
Totally.
so. I love so much about this episode, and I it's just such a great representation of like what makes this show good.
Right.
There's some 2007 in this thing for sure.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate, and so it's gonna get knocked down for that definitely, just because it needs. Yeah, it needs
It's
to
just,
be.
it's a thing that watching it now, it takes, or watching it at all, aware of these things. You watch it now, it takes you out of it.
Yeah.
It's a thing that like it's just breaks the experience of watching the show.
Definitely. I'm still gonna give this 4.5 purple nurples.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. That's pretty good. Not bad.
Yeah, and I'm like on the edge of 4.75, but it's still
Right.
that stuff bugged me.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So that is it for this week. If you have a note about this episode, something maybe we missed in a future or previous episode, let us know through our email.
Yeah, ghostfacerspodcast@gmail.com.
Or maybe you just want to talk to us online. There's lots of places you can do that.
Yeah, that's at ghostfacerspod. on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
That's right. And if you want even more content from us, we think that might be relevant to your interests. We have a whole other podcast.
Yeah, it's the Dr. DC podcast. We talk about DC Comics. We answer listener questions. You don't need to know anything about it. We're just talking about superhero lore. So if you enjoy monster lore and stuff like that, if you like the storytelling kind of stuff that Supernatural does, hop on over there. You might find that you enjoy superhero comics.
That's right. Say goodbye, bitch.
Jerk.
This was a Brain Freeze podcast.